Let me ask you this: when was the last time you truly embraced being alone? Not loneliness, but solitude, the kind that allows you to sit with yourself, hear your own thoughts, and feel your emotions without judgment. Solitude is one of the most underestimated experiences in life. People often associate being alone with loneliness, sadness, or even failure. But the truth is, solitude is not a punishment, it's an opportunity. It's a gift wrapped in silence, waiting for you to open it. The world we live in moves at a relentless pace, pulling us in every direction. Notifications ping on our phones, emails flood our inboxes, and conversations demand our constant engagement. In this ceaseless world of activity, we often lose sight of ourselves. We become so focused on meeting expectations, fulfilling responsibilities, and keeping up with others that we neglect the most important relationship we'll ever have, the one we have with ourselves. When you're alone, the distractions fall away. There's no one to impress, no one to influence your thoughts, no external noise to drown out your inner voice. This silence might feel uncomfortable at first because it's unfamiliar. But within that discomfort lies the possibility of transformation. Solitude creates a sacred space where you can reconnect with who you truly are, away from the influence of others. It's a space where you're not defined by your roles, achievements, or relationships, but by your essence. The beauty of being alone is that it allows you to pause and breathe. Life doesn't have a pause button, but solitude gives you the closest thing to it. It's a time when you can stop running on autopilot and start being present in the moment. This presence is powerful because it brings clarity. You begin to see your life as it truly is, without the distortions of outside opinions or societal expectations. What are you striving for? Are you pursuing goals that truly matter to you? Or are you chasing after someone else's idea of success? These are the questions that solitude allows you to explore. In the quiet moments, you begin to notice things you might have ignored before. You notice your thoughts, your feelings, and your desires. You might realize that you've been carrying unnecessary burdens of guilt, regret, or resentment. These emotions can weigh you down, but solitude gives you the chance to acknowledge them and begin the process of letting them go. It's in these moments of quiet reflection that you can start to heal. Being alone also gives you the freedom to dream. In the company of others, your dreams are often shaped by their opinions and expectations. But when you're alone, your imagination is unfiltered. You can envision a life that excites you, a life that aligns with your deepest values and aspirations. This is where creativity flourishes. Some of the greatest ideas and innovations in history were born in solitude. It's in the stillness that your mind has the space to explore, to wonder, and to create. When you embrace solitude, you also begin to develop a sense of self-reliance. You learn to trust yourself, to rely on your own judgment, and to make decisions without seeking validation from others. This self-reliance is empowering because it liberates you from the need for constant approval. You no longer have to conform to fit in or seek acceptance to feel worthy. Instead, you realize that your worth comes from within. Solitude also allows you to reconnect with nature and the world around you. Without the distractions of technology and social interactions, you become more attuned to the beauty of the present moment. A walk in the park, the sound of birdsong, the feel of the wind on your skin, these simple experiences become profoundly meaningful. They remind you of the interconnectedness of life and your place within it. In solitude, you have the chance to rediscover your passions. What brings you joy? What makes you feel alive? These are questions that often get buried under the demands of daily life. But when you're alone, you can explore them freely. You might pick up an old hobby, try something new, or simply take the time to do things that make you happy. This rediscovery of joy is one of the most rewarding aspects of solitude. Another gift of solitude is the opportunity for introspection. It's a time to look inward and evaluate your life. Are you living in alignment with your values? Are your relationships healthy and fulfilling? Are you prioritizing what truly matters? These are the kinds of questions that can lead to profound personal growth. Introspection allows you to identify areas of your life that need change and to take steps toward creating the life you want. Solitude also gives you the strength to face your fears. When you're constantly surrounded by others, it's easy to avoid confronting your insecurities and doubts. But when you're alone, there's nowhere to hide. This can be challenging, but it's also an opportunity for growth. By facing your fears head on, you can begin to overcome them and build confidence in yourself. When you find yourself alone, the silence can feel overwhelming, not because it's inherently uncomfortable, but because it creates a space where your true emotions come to the surface. These feelings, fear, sadness, anger, or doubt, can no longer be drowned out by distractions or the presence of others. They emerge boldly, demanding your attention. And while it may seem easier to avoid them, it is in these moments of solitude that you are given the rare opportunity to confront and understand them. These feelings are not enemies to be fought or banished. They are teachers guiding you toward deeper self-awareness and growth. Negative emotions have a way of clinging to the corners of our minds, shaping how we see the world and ourselves. When you're surrounded by noise, whether from people or external activities, it's easy to suppress or ignore them. You tell yourself you're too busy to deal with them, or you distract yourself with work, entertainment, or social interaction. But solitude strips away those excuses. In the quiet, those emotions demand your attention. And this is not a punishment, it is a chance to heal. Fear is often the first emotion to surface in solitude. It might be fear of failure, fear of rejection, or even fear of being alone itself. This fear is rooted in uncertainty, and it thrives in the absence of clarity. When you're busy, this fear is masked by activity, but when you're alone, it stands before you raw and unfiltered. And yet fear has a purpose. It signals areas of your life where you feel vulnerable, areas that need your attention and care. Facing fear isn't about eliminating it. It's about understanding its origins and learning how to respond to it with courage instead of avoidance. Sadness is another emotion that often emerges when we are alone. It might stem from past losses, unfulfilled desires, or feelings of inadequacy. Sadness is heavy. It can feel like a weight pressing down on your chest. But in solitude, you have the space to sit with this sadness, to feel it fully without judgment or interruption. This is not about wallowing. It's about allowing yourself to process what you've been carrying. Sometimes the act of simply acknowledging your sadness is enough to begin releasing it. It's through this release that healing begins. Anger can also arise in moments of solitude. It might be anger at someone who wronged you, anger at circumstances beyond your control, or even anger at yourself for past mistakes. Anger is often misunderstood as a destructive force, but at its core, it is a signal that something in your life feels unjust or out of alignment. When you're alone, you can examine this anger without the immediate pressure to act on it. You can ask yourself, what is this anger trying to tell me? What boundaries have been crossed? What changes need to be made? Solitude gives you the time and space to explore these questions, transforming anger into a catalyst for positive change. One of the most insidious emotions that surfaces in solitude is doubt. Doubt whispers in your ear, questioning your abilities, your decisions, and even your worth. It's a quiet, persistent voice that can undermine your confidence if left unchecked. In solitude, doubt can feel overwhelming because there's no one to reassure you or validate your choices. But this is precisely why solitude is so powerful. It forces you to confront doubt and find reassurance within yourself. By examining your doubts, you can begin to separate the truth from the lies, identifying the limiting beliefs that have been holding you back. Negative emotions, when left unaddressed, can feel like an unbearable weight. But when you allow yourself to sit with them, to truly feel them, something remarkable happens. These emotions lose their power over you. They no longer control your actions or dictate your thoughts. Instead, they become a source of insight. They show you where you've been hurt, where you've been neglecting your needs, and where you need to grow. Solitude also gives you the chance to explore the roots of your negative emotions. Often these emotions are tied to stories we tell ourselves, stories about who we are, what we deserve, and what is possible for us. For example, you might feel sadness because you believe you failed in some way, or anger because you think life has treated you unfairly. But are these stories true? Solitude allows you to examine them, to question their validity, and to rewrite them in a way that empowers you instead of limiting you. Processing negative emotions in solitude is not easy. It requires patience, honesty, and a willingness to sit with discomfort. But it's through this process that you begin to heal. You start to see that these emotions, while painful, are not permanent. They are temporary waves, and like all waves, they eventually pass. In solitude, you can also develop tools for dealing with negative emotions. You might turn to journaling, writing down your thoughts and feelings to gain clarity. You might practice mindfulness, observing your emotions without judgment. You might meditate, focusing on your breath to center yourself. These practices help you to not only cope with negative emotions, but to understand them on a deeper level. Reflection is one of the most powerful tools for personal growth, and it's a gift that solitude provides in abundance. In the busy rhythm of daily life, where responsibilities and distractions demand constant attention, the opportunity to reflect often feels out of reach. Solitude changes this dynamic, creating a space where reflection becomes not only possible, but transformative. It's in these quiet, undisturbed moments that you gain the clarity to evaluate your choices, understand your experiences, and realign with your true purpose. When you take the time to reflect, you're essentially looking at your life from a higher perspective. Imagine stepping outside of yourself and observing your journey with fresh eyes. This kind of perspective allows you to see patterns and behaviors that may have gone unnoticed in the chaos of everyday life. You begin to recognize the actions and decisions that have brought you to where you are today. Some of these may fill you with pride and a sense of accomplishment, while others might reveal areas where change is needed. Reflection in this sense is like holding up a mirror to your life, not to judge, but to understand. One of the first things you might notice during reflection is how much of your time and energy is spent on things that don't truly matter. It's easy to get caught up in routines, obligations, or even distractions that pull you away from what's truly meaningful. In solitude, you have the chance to ask yourself important questions. What am I really working toward? Am I investing my time in activities and relationships that nourish me? Are my daily habits aligned with the vision I have for my life? These questions might be uncomfortable at first, but they're necessary for growth. They help you identify the areas where you're out of alignment, giving you the clarity to make changes that bring you closer to your goals. Reflection also allows you to revisit past experiences with a new lens. Life is filled with moments of joy, challenge, and even pain, and each of these moments carries a lesson. But when you're constantly moving forward, you rarely have the chance to pause and extract the wisdom these experiences offer. In solitude, you can take the time to look back and ask, what did this teach me? How have I grown because of it? This kind of reflection turns every experience, even the difficult ones, into a stepping stone for personal growth. One of the most profound aspects of reflection is its ability to reveal the beliefs and thought patterns that shape your life. These beliefs often operate beneath the surface, influencing your actions and decisions without you even realizing it. For example, you might have a belief that you're not good enough, or that success requires constant struggle. These beliefs can limit you, holding you back from achieving your full potential. Through reflection, you can bring these beliefs to light, questioning their validity and replacing them with new, empowering narratives. In addition to uncovering limiting beliefs, reflection gives you the chance to celebrate your strengths and achievements. It's easy to focus on what's not working or what you need to improve, but taking the time to acknowledge your progress is just as important. Reflection allows you to see how far you've come, reminding you of your resilience, determination, and capability. This kind of self-appreciation builds confidence and motivation, fueling your desire to continue growing and evolving. Another benefit of reflection is its ability to clarify your values. Your values are the guiding principles that define what's important to you, but in the hustle of daily life, it's easy to lose sight of them. Solitude provides us a space to reconnect with these values, asking yourself questions like, what do I stand for? What kind of life do I want to create? Am I living in a way that honors my deepest beliefs? These questions might not have immediate answers, but the process of exploring them helps you align your actions with your values, creating a sense of integrity and purpose. Reflection also plays a crucial role in relationships. When you're alone, you have the opportunity to evaluate the dynamics of the relationships in your life. Are they supportive and uplifting, or are they draining and toxic? Are you showing up as the person you want to be in your relationships, or are there areas where you need to grow? These insights can lead to more meaningful connections and healthier boundaries, enriching your interactions with others. Solitude and reflection go hand in hand because they provide the time and space needed to go deeper. In these moments, you might find that certain emotions arise: regret for past mistakes, gratitude for the blessings in your life, or even a renewed sense of determination to create change. These emotions are not distractions, they're part of the process. They guide you toward greater self-awareness, helping you understand what truly matters and what you need to let go of. Reflection also fosters creativity. When your mind is free from the constant chatter of daily life, it has the space to explore new ideas and perspectives. You might find yourself thinking of solutions to challenges, envisioning new possibilities, or simply reconnecting with your inner sense of curiosity. This creative energy is a powerful force for transformation, allowing you to approach your life with fresh enthusiasm and vision. Through reflection, you gain not only insight, but also the ability to take intentional action. You begin to see where you've been stuck, where you've been thriving, and where you want to go next. Each moment of reflection becomes a building block, helping you construct a life that feels authentic, fulfilling, and aligned with your deepest desires. When you spend time in solitude, you are confronted with a rare and transformative experience, the realization that your inner world holds immense power. Without the distractions of external validation or societal expectations, you begin to recognize that the answers you seek, the clarity, direction, and strength reside within you. This realization is not immediate, nor is it always comfortable. It requires a willingness to turn inward, to face your thoughts and feelings without judgment, and to embrace the profound truth that you are your own greatest resource. Solitude creates the perfect environment for self-discovery. In the absence of external influences, you are free to explore who you truly are. Often we define ourselves through the lens of others, how they perceive us, what they expect from us, or how we compare to them. These perceptions can cloud our understanding of ourselves, leaving us disconnected from our true identity. But in solitude, those external filters fall away. You have the space to ask yourself questions like, who am I when no one is watching? What do I truly value? What brings me joy, fulfillment, and meaning? As you delve deeper into these questions, you might encounter parts of yourself that have been buried or ignored. Perhaps it's a passion you sidelined in favor of practicality, or a dream you've dismissed as unrealistic. Maybe it's a quality you've been afraid to embrace, a quiet strength, a creative spark, or a deep sense of empathy. Solitude gives you the courage to uncover these aspects of yourself, to acknowledge them without fear, and to integrate them into your sense of identity. In solitude, you also gain the ability to tune into your intuition. Intuition is often overshadowed by the noise of daily life, the constant stream of opinions, advice, and information that can make it difficult to hear your own inner voice. But in the quiet of solitude, your intuition becomes clearer. It's that subtle guiding force that tells you when something feels right or wrong, even when you can't explain why. It's the source of those gut feelings that often lead you toward the best decisions. By spending time alone, you strengthen your connection to this inner wisdom, learning to trust it as a reliable compass for navigating life's complexities. This connection to your inner self also enhances your emotional resilience. Life is full of challenges, and it's easy to feel overwhelmed or discouraged when faced with adversity. But when you cultivate a strong inner foundation, you develop the ability to weather life's storms with greater ease. Solitude teaches you that you don't need external reassurance to face difficulties. You have the strength within you to overcome them. It reminds you that even in moments of uncertainty or fear, you possess the inner resources to persevere. Another profound realization that comes from connecting with your inner self is the understanding that your thoughts shape your reality. In solitude, you have the opportunity to observe your thought patterns without distraction. You might notice recurring negative thoughts, doubts, fears, or self-criticism that have been holding you back. But you also gain the power to challenge these thoughts, to replace them with more empowering narratives that reflect your true potential. This shift in mindset can have a ripple effect, influencing not only how you see yourself, but also how you approach your goals and relationships. Solitude also fosters a sense of inner peace that can be difficult to find in the hustle and bustle of daily life. This peace doesn't come from the absence of problems or challenges, but from the awareness that you are enough as you are. It's a quiet confidence that arises when you realize you don't need to prove your worth to anyone because your value is inherent. This inner peace becomes a sanctuary you can return to whenever life feels chaotic or overwhelming, grounding you in a sense of calm and clarity. The process of connecting with your inner self also leads to greater self-compassion. As you spend time alone, you begin to see yourself not as a collection of flaws or mistakes, but as a whole, imperfect, and deeply human being. You learn to treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer a close friend. This self-compassion doesn't mean ignoring areas for growth, rather, it means approaching them with patience and love, recognizing that growth is a journey, not a destination. In solitude, you also have the chance to align your life with your authentic self. This alignment might involve making difficult decisions, letting go of relationships, habits, or commitments that no longer serve you, or pursuing paths that feel unconventional or uncertain. But these choices become easier when they are guided by a deep connection to your inner truth. When you know who you are and what you stand for, you gain the clarity and confidence to create a life that reflects your values and aspirations. Perhaps one of the most transformative aspects of connecting with your inner self is the realization that you are not defined by your circumstances. No matter what challenges you face or what limitations you encounter, you have the power to shape your own narrative. Solitude helps you see that you are the author of your story, and that you have the ability to write it in a way that honors your unique strengths and desires. This sense of empowerment can inspire profound changes, both within yourself and in the world around you. The journey of self-discovery that unfolds in solitude is not always easy, but it is profoundly rewarding. It requires courage to face your inner world, patience to sit with your thoughts and emotions, and a willingness to embrace both your light and your shadow. But through this process, you gain a deeper understanding of yourself, a stronger connection to your intuition, and a renewed sense of purpose and clarity. Solitude is a unique opportunity to experience profound mental clarity, something that is often elusive in the noise and chaos of daily life. In the constant whirlwind of responsibilities, obligations, and external distractions, our minds are perpetually occupied, leaving little room for focus or insight. Solitude, however, offers a sanctuary where this clutter can be cleared, creating a mental space that is open, sharp, and reflective. In this quiet environment, clarity begins to emerge, illuminating thoughts, ideas, and perspectives that were previously obscured. The process of achieving mental clarity in solitude begins with the absence of external noise. Without the constant chatter of social interactions, the demands of work, or the distractions of technology, your mind is no longer under siege. This absence is not a void, rather, it's a space where thoughts can settle like sediment sinking to the bottom of a still pond. The surface of your mind, once turbulent, becomes calm and clear, allowing you to see through to the depths of your consciousness. In this clarity, patterns, connections, and insights that were once hidden begin to reveal themselves. Mental clarity is not simply about having fewer distractions, it's also about being able to prioritize your thoughts. In the solitude of your own mind, you can begin to sort through the constant influx of ideas, worries, and plans that often compete for attention. This sorting process allows you to focus on what truly matters. You can ask yourself, what are my most pressing concerns? What problems require solutions? What goals deserve my energy? By organizing your thoughts in this way, you gain a clearer sense of direction and purpose. This sense of clarity extends to decision making. In the noise of daily life, making choices can feel overwhelming, as you're often bombarded with conflicting advice, opinions, and expectations. Solitude, however, strips away these external influences, allowing you to approach decisions with a fresh perspective. You have the opportunity to weigh your options carefully, consider potential outcomes, and align your choices with your values and long-term goals. This kind of deliberate decision-making is not only more effective, but also more fulfilling, as it comes from a place of authenticity rather than external pressure. Another powerful aspect of mental clarity in solitude is the ability to gain insight into your emotions. Emotions are a natural and essential part of the human experience, but they can be confusing and overwhelming when not given the attention they deserve. In solitude, you have the time and space to explore your emotions without distraction. You can ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Why do I feel this way? What is this emotion trying to tell me? By examining your emotions in this way, you can understand them more deeply, allowing you to process and manage them more effectively. This emotional insight often leads to greater self-awareness. Mental clarity in solitude allows you to step back and observe your thoughts and behaviors without judgment. You can begin to identify patterns, recurring thoughts, habitual reactions, or persistent fears that may be influencing your life in ways you hadn't realized. This self-awareness is the first step toward growth, as it gives you the knowledge you need to make intentional changes. It also fosters a sense of empowerment as you realize that you have the ability to shape your mindset and actions in a way that serves your goals. Clarity in solitude also fosters creativity. When your mind is free from distractions and noise, it has the space to wander, explore, and imagine. This creative freedom can lead to new ideas, solutions, and perspectives that might not have surfaced in a more chaotic environment. Whether you're working on a specific project, brainstorming solutions to a problem, or simply letting your mind drift, the clarity of solitude provides fertile ground for innovation and inspiration. Another important benefit of mental clarity is its ability to reduce stress. Many of the worries and anxieties that weigh on your mind are amplified by the busyness and distractions of daily life. Solitude allows you to step away from these stressors and examine them with a calmer, more objective perspective. You might realize that some of your worries are unfounded, or that solutions to your problems are more straightforward than they initially seem. This shift in perspective can help you approach challenges with a greater sense of calm and confidence. Clarity also enhances your ability to focus. In solitude, you can direct your attention to a single thought, task, or idea without interruption. This kind of deep focus is increasingly rare in a world filled with constant notifications, multitasking, and distractions, yet it is essential for meaningful work and personal growth. By cultivating this ability in solitude, you not only become more productive, but also develop a greater appreciation for the task at hand. Finally, mental clarity in solitude provides a sense of inner alignment. When your thoughts are clear and your emotions are understood, you feel more connected to yourself and your purpose. This alignment creates a sense of harmony that carries over into all areas of your life, making your actions more intentional, your relationships more meaningful, and your goals more achievable. Through the gift of solitude, you gain not only clarity, but also the confidence and insight to live a life that feels true to who you are. When you are alone, you begin to realize how much of your time and energy is spent fulfilling the expectations, needs, and desires of others. Relationships, whether personal or professional, are often a delicate dance of compromise and sacrifice, where your boundaries can blur in the process of trying to please others. Solitude creates the perfect environment to explore and establish boundaries both with yourself and with others. It is during this quiet time, free from external demands, that you can start identifying what feels right for you, what crosses the line, and what you are willing to accept or not accept in your interactions. This realization often begins with understanding your personal values. When you're constantly surrounded by people, their opinions and preferences can inadvertently influence your decisions, sometimes at the cost of your own integrity. In solitude, you have the space to reflect on what truly matters to you. What are the principles and beliefs that guide your life? What makes you feel respected, valued, and fulfilled? These reflections help you identify the standards you want to uphold in your relationships, providing a clear framework for setting boundaries that align with your values. Boundaries are not just about saying no, they are about defining what you will say yes to. When you spend time alone, you gain clarity about your priorities. You can ask yourself, what activities and relationships bring me joy and growth? What drains my energy or leaves me feeling unfulfilled? This understanding helps you allocate your time and resources more intentionally. You begin to see the importance of protecting your energy, ensuring that it is invested in pursuits and connections that align with your goals and well-being. Solitude also helps you recognize patterns of behavior that might have gone unnoticed in the busyness of everyday life. Perhaps you've noticed a tendency to overcommit yourself, saying yes to requests out of guilt or obligation rather than genuine desire. Or maybe you've realized that certain relationships leave you feeling depleted or undervalued. In solitude, you can reflect on these patterns with greater objectivity, identifying areas where your boundaries need strengthening. This self-awareness is crucial for making changes that protect your emotional and mental health. The process of establishing boundaries also involves understanding your emotional triggers. These are the situations, interactions, or behaviors that evoke strong emotional reactions, often making it difficult to respond calmly or assertively. Solitude allows you to explore these triggers without the pressure of real-time interaction. You can examine past experiences, identify common themes, and consider how you want to handle similar situations in the future. This preparation gives you the confidence to communicate your boundaries clearly and assertively when the need arises. One of the most empowering aspects of solitude is that it teaches you to value your own needs and desires. In a world that often prioritizes selflessness and people-pleasing, it can be challenging to prioritize yourself without feeling guilty. But solitude reminds you that your well-being is just as important as anyone else's. It's not selfish to protect your time, energy, and emotional health. It's necessary for living a balanced and fulfilling life. When you recognize your own worth, setting boundaries becomes an act of self-respect rather than an uncomfortable obligation. Learning to set boundaries in solitude also helps you develop stronger communication skills. When you've had time to reflect on your needs and values, you can articulate them with greater clarity and confidence. This doesn't mean being confrontational or aggressive. It means expressing yourself in a way that is honest and respectful. For example, instead of saying, "You're always demanding too much from me," you might say, "I need some time to focus on my own projects right now." Solitude gives you the space to practice these kinds of conversations in your mind, making it easier to navigate them in real life. Another benefit of setting boundaries in solitude is that it reduces resentment. When you don't set boundaries, you may find yourself feeling frustrated or taken advantage of, even if others are unaware of how you feel. This resentment can strain relationships and create unnecessary tension. By setting clear boundaries, you prevent these feelings from building up, creating healthier and more balanced interactions. Solitude helps you see this dynamic more clearly, giving you the motivation to address it proactively. Boundaries are not just about managing relationships with others, they are also about managing your relationship with yourself. In solitude, you have the opportunity to examine how you treat yourself. Are you constantly pushing yourself to the point of exhaustion? Do you ignore your own needs in favor of meeting external expectations? Solitude allows you to reflect on these patterns and make changes that prioritize self-care and balance. This might mean setting limits on how much you work, creating time for rest and relaxation, or being kinder to yourself when you make mistakes. Finally, solitude teaches you that boundaries are not static, they are dynamic and adaptable. As you grow and change, your needs and priorities will evolve, and your boundaries should reflect these shifts. In solitude, you can regularly check in with yourself, reassessing your boundaries and making adjustments as needed. This ongoing process ensures that your boundaries continue to support your well-being and align with your goals. Establishing boundaries is a powerful act of self-empowerment, and solitude provides the perfect environment for this work. It gives you the clarity, self-awareness, and confidence needed to define your limits, communicate them effectively, and uphold them with integrity. Through this process, you not only protect your energy and emotional health, but also create a foundation for deeper, more fulfilling relationships and a life that is true to your values. Solitude is a profound teacher, and one of its greatest lessons is the power of self-reliance. In moments of quiet separation from the world, you come face to face with the realization that you are your own greatest resource. This isn't about rejecting help or collaboration, but about discovering the depth of your own capabilities, your inner strength, and your ability to navigate life's challenges on your own terms. When you embrace solitude, you begin to understand that your worth and potential are not dependent on external validation or support, and this realization is profoundly liberating. When you spend time alone, you quickly notice the absence of others' opinions, judgments, or advice. Initially, this might feel unsettling because so much of modern life revolves around constant feedback loops, whether it's from colleagues, friends, family, or social media. However, in this absence, something remarkable happens. You learn to trust your own instincts. Without the noise of outside voices, you begin to listen to your inner voice. This voice, often drowned out in the bustle of daily life, becomes clearer, and as you pay attention to it, you start recognizing its wisdom. This is the voice that guides you in making decisions aligned with your values and goals. As you develop this trust in yourself, you also cultivate problem-solving skills. When you're alone, you don't have the immediate option to delegate or seek advice. Instead, you are challenged to rely on your creativity, critical thinking, and resourcefulness to address the issues at hand. These moments of self-reliance are transformative. They show you that you are capable of finding solutions even when the path is unclear. Each problem you solve independently reinforces this confidence, building a sense of competence and resilience that carries over into all areas of your life. Solitude also gives you the space to confront your fears and insecurities. Often these emotions are magnified by external factors, such as societal expectations, the fear of judgment or comparison to others. When you are alone, these distractions fade and you are left with the raw truth of your feelings. While this can be uncomfortable, it is also an opportunity for growth. By facing your fears head on, you begin to understand them and in doing so diminish their power. This process strengthens your self-reliance because it shows you that you can handle discomfort and uncertainty without external reassurance. In solitude, you also become more attuned to your own needs and desires. When you are constantly surrounded by others, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters to you. You might find yourself conforming to others' expectations or prioritizing their needs over your own. Solitude disrupts this pattern by placing the focus squarely on you. What do you want? What brings you joy? What challenges do you want to overcome? As you explore these questions, you start to see that you are fully capable of meeting your own needs, whether that means pursuing your passions, achieving your goals, or simply finding peace within yourself. Self-reliance also involves taking responsibility for your life. In solitude, there is no one else to blame for your circumstances, no one to share the credit for your successes or the burden of your failures. This can be a daunting realization, but it is also empowering. When you take full ownership of your life, you recognize that you have the power to change it. You are not a passive participant in your story, but the author of it. This sense of agency is a cornerstone of self-reliance, and it is often born in moments of solitude when you have the clarity and space to reflect on your choices and their consequences. Moreover, solitude helps you build emotional resilience. When you are alone, you have the opportunity to process your emotions without distraction. You learn how to sit with discomfort, navigate feelings of sadness or anxiety, and find ways to soothe yourself. These skills are invaluable because they teach you that you don't need to rely on others to regulate your emotions. You become your own source of comfort and strength, which is an essential aspect of self-reliance. This doesn't mean you should isolate yourself completely or avoid seeking support when needed, but it does mean that you are not dependent on others for your emotional well-being. Another significant aspect of self-reliance is the ability to set and achieve goals independently. In solitude, you have the time and focus to clarify your ambitions and create a plan for achieving them. Without external distractions, you can work steadily toward your goals, relying on your discipline, determination, and problem-solving skills. Each milestone you reach reinforces your belief in your own abilities, showing you that you don't need constant guidance or validation to succeed. This sense of accomplishment is deeply fulfilling and further strengthens your self-reliance. Spending time alone also fosters self-sufficiency in a practical sense. Whether it's managing your finances, learning a new skill, or taking care of your physical and mental health, solitude encourages you to take charge of the tasks and responsibilities that make up your daily life. This hands-on approach not only builds competence, but also enhances your confidence in your ability to handle whatever challenges come your way. You begin to see yourself as capable and resourceful, someone who can thrive independently. Perhaps most importantly, solitude reveals the truth that your value does not depend on others' approval. In a society that often equates worth with social connections, achievements, or external accolades, this can be a radical realization. When you are alone, you see that your value is inherent. It is not something that needs to be proven or earned, it simply is. This understanding is the foundation of true self-reliance because it frees you from the need to seek validation from others. You can stand confidently in your own truth, knowing that you are enough just as you are. Through solitude, you come to understand that self-reliance is not about isolation, but about inner strength. It is the ability to trust yourself, take responsibility for your life, and meet your own needs with confidence and grace. This is the gift of solitude. It reconnects you with your own power, showing you that you are capable, worthy, and complete on your own terms.